love that for me. Hi, it's Judy and welcome to another video. Today I am going to be talking about my May TBR. So we all know that I am rubbish with my TBRs and I hardly ever stick to them, but nonetheless this is going to be my TBR video. So I, as always, have a very large amount of books on my TBR that probably aren't going to get read, but yeah, we're going to talk about them anyway. So I have my little bibliophile planner here and I have actually written down some that I do want to read. I have a little list of some I really do want to read, but who knows. So here is the pile. I'm really hoping these don't fall and hit me in the head, but this is my pile of books that I would like to read in May. So yeah, quite a lot. Definitely won't be getting to all of these, but you know, we love an ambitious TBR, so that's what we're doing. Huge stack as always. So the first book on my TBR for May isn't a book that I have not read before. I have indeed read this, but I cannot remember it. And I know that when I read this, I'm pretty sure I did give it 5 stars and I'm pretty sure I loved it. I think I read this like 2 years ago now and it popped back up in my brain somehow and I was like, oh my gosh, why did I love that book? What even happened in that book? I need to read it again. So I plan on rereading it. I don't know if I definitely will, but I'm putting it on my TBR. To Kill a Kingdom by Alexander Christo. I couldn't remember the name, but yeah, I remember I gave this 5 stars and I enjoyed it, but I just can't remember it, so that's why it's on my TBR. This follows a princess who's a siren, which is like a mermaid, and she's called Lyra, I think. Is it Lyra? I think her name's Lyra. And she, every year that she's alive, she collects a heart from a man, I think, and she has like this box full of like bloody hearts. So she's 17, so I assume she has 17 hearts, and she is quite a revered princess because she is royalty throughout, you know, her kingdom and throughout like the ocean. And then she is banished to the human world by the Sea Queen. So this is a Little Mermaid kind of sort of retelling, not exactly, but the basic premise is kind of based off Little Mermaid from what I know. So yeah, this Sea Queen's evil and she banishes her to the human world, and in order to return back to the siren world again, Lyra has to kill the famous siren killer, and if she doesn't, she'll be stuck as a human forever. Then we have Prince Elian, who is human, and he is the captain on this ship full of the world's best siren hunters. So he hunts Lyra's kind, and you know, I take it he enjoys it. And then one day he rescues a drowning woman, and this woman promises to help him destroy all the sirens for good, but it is obviously Lyra and he has no idea. And yeah, that's where the story goes from there. So this is sort of like, from what I remember, I'm pretty sure it's forbidden romance and we've got sirens and stuff. So yeah, I remember loving this and I just cannot remember the actual story for some reason. So I really want to reread it, and I'm kind of in the mood for a bit of like mermaidy fantasy stuff. So yeah, will I read it? Who knows? This is why I struggle to get through my TBR, because I reread books. I need to not reread books, but I just can't help it. Next is the 3rd book in the Mortal Instruments series. So this is City of Glass by Cassandra Clare. I read City of Ashes last month. So obviously now I want to read the next book in the series, and I'm listening to these on audio. Not going to talk what this is about because I don't want to give any spoilers. It basically continues on the plot of City of Bones and follows Clary and Jace and their fight against Valentine to kind of save Downworlders and humanity and blah blah blah. That's pretty much what this book's about. And yeah, I'm going to listen to this on audiobook hopefully and get it ticked off my TBR. And yeah, I really enjoyed City of Ashes last time, so I'm hoping this is even better. Yeah, we'll see how I get on with this one. Next is a book I'm pretty sure someone sent me from my Amazon wishlist a while ago, and I have not read a kind of like romancy rom-com-y book for a while, and I really want to. And I remember when I first saw this I was so excited for it, and I just don't know why I haven't read it yet. I'm hoping to get this book read in May because I haven't read anything like this for a while. I've been reading a lot of kind of fantasy, so this would be nice to kind of get in there, but I am quite a mood reader, so I will need to be in a specific mood to read this specific book. This is Of Curses and Kisses by Sandhya Menon, is how I'm going to pronounce it. I'm so sorry if it's wrong. I've heard really good things about this, and this is kind of like a rom-com-y contemporary kind of vibey book. This follows Princess Jaya, I think is her name, and for her, family is everything, and then this other rival family kind of challenges them, and this centuries old feud comes back again, and they are basically going after her little sister. And this rival family is called the Emersons, and she wants to get revenge. She is furious, she wants revenge on this family, and she then finds out that this guy called Gray Emerson, obviously one of these relatives from this rival family, is going to the same elite boarding school that she is. So she decides this is the perfect opportunity to exact her revenge. In order to do that, she plans to make this guy fall in love with her and then break his heart. This guy though is actually drawing her in against what she was hoping would happen, and yeah, I think this is kind of maybe even enemies to lovers kind of thing, sort of. And then loads of challenges face them, I think, when they probably both have these same feelings for each other, and obviously they're rival families. It's kind of forbidden romance, so they need to find a way around that, and that's basically all I know about it. I love these kinds of stories and I can't wait to read this because I have heard really good things. Next is a book that was on my TBR last month and I've made little progress on. So this is the third book in the Outlander series, and this is Voyage Rep by Diana Gabaldon. So I listened to this on audio. Usually I get through these sort of quickly. They're usually like 30 to 40 hour long audiobooks, so yeah, quite long. But I drive a lot, so I would listen to them in the car while I would be driving, but obviously because of lockdown I ain't doing that, so I haven't really listened to it at all. I've literally listened to like the first 2 chapters, so I'm literally not even like 30 pages into this, and 2 chapters of this book, which is very little and is literally 30 pages, is like almost an hour of audio, so that's just ridiculous. Really want to make progress on this month. I don't think I'll finish it, really unlikely, but I'm putting it on my TBR because I at least want to make progress on it, even if it's just a chapter or 2 more. So this is on my TBR again and let's hope I actually get to it. So this next book that's on my TBR is one that everybody in the YA community is obsessed with. Like, so many people love this book and the hype around this book is insane, which is kind of one of the main reasons I have not read it, because I'm scared it won't live up to my expectations now. But I feel like a fraud being a YA lover when I haven't read this book. So I'm putting on my TBR and I do really want to read it. I just hope that I'm not disappointed. But that is Serpent and Dove by Shelby Mahern, I think. But I'm pretty sure most of you will have already read this or know what it's about, but I have not, and that is why I'm putting on my TBR, because I do really want to read it. I've been meaning to read it for quite a while, and for one reason or another I just haven't. This follows a witch and a witch hunter. It's forbidden romance, I assume. And the main character is Louise, and she fled her coven and she doesn't use her magic anymore, and she just lives, she's just basically surviving day by day, trying not to be hunted by witch hunters. Then there's this other character called Reed, and he is a witch hunter. He hunts witches. He ends up being forced in a union with Louise, and I think it's marriage, I'm assuming so. And yeah, so, you know, 2 polar opposites, a witch and a witch hunter, slammed together, forced into marriage somehow. I'm really intrigued as to how the hell that seems to come about, but she has some growing feelings, and you know, that's never going to be a good thing, is it? So yeah, that's pretty much the premise for this book. I don't know an awful lot about it. I just know it's about a witch and a witch hunter, which is the main thing that I am sold on, because I am here for anything witchy, and I have a feeling I will love this book, especially if it's forbidden romance. I love a forbidden romance, so I'm really excited to get to this book. And yeah, I need to get it read because it's ridiculous. Like, everyone has read this book, so I'm sick of being left out and not knowing what this book is about or how I feel about it. So I'm pretty sure I'll end up reading this in May, but we shall see. Next is a fairly new release. This was released in April. I can't remember when. It was either the beginning or the middle of April, and that is Red Hood by Eleanor K. Arnold, I think is how you say her name. And I actually happened upon this book by chance when I placed an order on Waterstones. It came up and I was like, oh, I really like the way the cover looks. What's the story? Read the synopsis and I was like, that sounds so cool, because it was to do with wolves, and I was like, yep, wolves my favourite animal, I'm here for it. So that's how I ended up with this book. So this follows, I have to check the character's name again, Bisou Martel. So this follows a girl called Bisou Martel, who's been in the care of her grandmother since she was 4 years old, and she lives in Seattle. And then one night on homecoming, she finds herself being chased in the woods by something with claws and fur and teeth. So obviously it's probably a wolf, Then she is attacked by this wolf and she fights her best and somehow survives, and then the next new moon arises, and you know, and a lot of questions seem to arise. That's pretty much all I know about this book. The main reason I wanted to read this book is because there is wolves, so yeah, that's all I know, but I'm really excited for it. It sounds kind of like scary and kind of like horror-ish, and yeah, it sounds different, so I'm really excited to read it. If any of you have heard of this book or have already read it or plan to, then please do comment down below, because I haven't seen or heard a lot of people talking about this book, and to me it sounds really, really good. So next we have a book that is simply on my TBR because there is a Netflix adaptation in the process for this book, and I thought I may as well read the book before the series or movie or whatever comes out. And this, I think, is one of those very cliche, very old YA books that a lot of people read back in the day. I was not one of them. Never read this series before, always looked at it but just never picked it up, and I decided to order it, and yeah, I want to read it. I have a feeling this is going to be very cringy, like kind of YA, like very cliche, but usually I'm a sucker for those kind of books, so yeah. The book is The Selection by Kira Cass. So this is the first book in a series. In this book, basically 35 girls are chosen to live in the palace and like royalty, and this is considered an honor and a huge thing. But the main character in this, it ain't like that for her. She did not want to be selected to be one of these girls. So her name's America Singer. Don't know how I feel about that. I'm pretty sure that's her name. It says America Singer. Yeah, her name's America Singer. Yeah, that's a very poor choice of names. I'm sorry, but it is like, no, but we'll ignore that because, you know, it still sounds interesting. She has a secret love that obviously, as a result of being chosen to live in the palace, that she has to turn her back on, and that's obviously, you know, not fun. But she now has to battle against all these other girls to try and win this competition and to live like royalty, but there is constant rebel threats happening and violence within the palace, and she's in the middle of all of it. And then she meets Prince Maxon, and everything she thought she knew about the world and thought she wanted begins to change, and yeah. So this sounds like it's going to have a bit of romance in there, a bit of cliche kind of YA romance, and I actually haven't read that many books with like kind of royalty in it, so I feel like this will be quite fun to read, and it is quite short, and like I said, the Netflix adaptation is happening soon, so I thought I'd pick it up and read it. So hopefully I'll get to it this month. The cover is so pretty. I love this cover, and I love this colour as well. So this next book was released at the very end of April, on the 30th to be exact, and I'm pretty excited for this book. I've seen a lot of talk about it online, and a lot of people seem to really enjoy it, so I'm hoping that's the case for me. That is Bone Crier's Moon by Catherine Purdy. I love this cover, like I really do love this cover, but I have to say so many YA covers look like this now, like it is crazy. I still love the cover. Basically, a bone crier is someone who keeps the dead from preying on the living, and their duty is very important. It's very sacred and very serious. I can't remember the whole synopsis, so I'm reading it from here. So it says here, the gods demand a promise of dedication at the cost of the bone crier's one true love. That is savage. That is very, very savage. And the main character in this, I think, is called Elise, and she has to sacrifice her one true love in order to gain the rite of passage to become a bone crier, and she's been prepared for this her whole life. Then there is a character called Bastien, I think is how you say his name, and his father was slain by a bone crier, and all his life he's wanted revenge. Now his paths and Elise's seem to intertwine, and they are sort of linked. Then there is another character called Sabine, who is best friend of Elise. Then Elise is taken, and Sabine will do anything she can to break Elise and Bastien, I think his name is, break their bond or whatever is going on between them. Stop it. Yeah, to try and save her friend. This sounds super interesting, and I've heard really good things, so I'm quite excited to give this a read. And yeah, the cover is just so pretty and I love it. So this next book is another really old YA, probably cliche book that everyone read back in the day that I didn't. So this is on my TBR, and I am in a book club, and a lot of the girls in this book club would love this book, and they did a reread which I missed, and I really want to read it, and they've all really hyped it up and said it's amazing, so I thought I'd finally read it. I'm hoping it lives up to the hype. So this is The Winner's Curse by Mary Rutkowski, I think is how you say her name. So the main character of this book is called Kestrel. Now she is the daughter of a general in this empire, and anyone they conquer becomes a slave in this world, so it doesn't sound like the nicest place. And she now only has two choices. She can either get married or she can join the military, but she has other ideas. She is not going to be doing either of those things. One day there is this slave officer called Aaron, I think his name is, and she is completely taken aback by this guy. He is described as a kindred spirit, whatever that means. She then buys this slave and has a bunch of consequences to face as a result, and she starts to fall in love with him. This guy also has a secret, and this is a big secret. It's going to open a big can of worms, to put it bluntly. So basically this is sort of a forbidden romance, and yeah, that's pretty much all I know about it. So I'm really excited to read this because, yeah, like I said, a lot of people in this book club love this book, and I just hope that I do too. Another quite short book, so hopefully I do manage to read this in May. And then lastly we have another extremely popular book that I feel like I should have read by now but just haven't. So this is adult fantasy, but it is a very popular book amongst the YA community because this author writes predominantly YA books, and that author is Leigh Bardugo, and this is Ninth House. So this is like dark academia, I believe. Lots of people talk about this, and it does have some mixed reviews, but for the most part the ones I've heard are very popular, and this sounds like it's right up my street. Like, it sounds like something I'm gonna love, and I'm really excited to read it. I'm kind of in the mood for it at the moment, which is why I've added it to my May TBR. This follows a character called Alex Stern, and she goes to Yale, and she is the most unlikely person to be at Yale because she was a dropout and she was able to survive this horrible unsolved crime, and the last thing she wants is to draw attention to herself and cause any kind of trouble. She obviously just wants to go to Yale. She wants a fresh start and to do something with her life, but a free ride to such a school is going to come with a massive cost. She is then tasked with monitoring the activities of Yale's secret societies in order for this free ride she's been given to Yale. Then there is a girl that has died on campus, and Alex refuses to believe the story she's been given by the police and the university. She thinks there's something more to it, and that these secret societies are somehow involved in this girl's murder. And she discovers that these secret societies tamper with forbidden magic, a very dark shady shit basically, and these are able to raise the dead, and obviously, you know, these are big red flags. So this kind of has like thriller vibes. It's got kind of like dark academia, magic. This just sounds like amazing, and I'm so excited to read this, and I am in the mood for it at the moment. I just hope I manage to read it in May, but you know, like I always say, I am a mood reader, so we shall see. But that is all the books on my May TBR, and yeah, very ambitious as always. A lot of books that I probably will not even read, but those are the ones that at the moment I feel like I'm going to be in the mood for. My dog's barking. Obviously throughout May my mood's probably going to change. I'm probably going to want to pick up other books, but yeah, at the moment those are the ones I really want to get to. Let's just hope I do get through like half of them. I'd be happy with, but I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're planning on reading any of these books, or you have read these books, then please do comment down below what your thoughts are on them. And if you like this video, then please do give it a big thumbs up and subscribe if you like to. And yeah, I will see you guys soon. Bye!